As the Jackson 5 Blair in the background, Brian Kaufman will look to get a save by making it as easy as 1-2-3. He does not yet have a save on the season, so it'll be his first. He's able to get through this one. And he'll face off against Ruziak, Salta, and Lech. 7, 8, and 9. Here is Cam Ruziak, 1 for 3. He doubled in 2 runs in the 4th inning, also struck out and grounded out. No defensive changes for the Beacons, as they will hope to wrap this one up. Kaufman came in back in the 7th. Be a 3-inning save if he's able to get through this one, as this one is chopped right back against the screen. 0-1. From the windup, the 0-1 pitch from Kaufman. Another foul ball off the screen. It's 0-2.
As a defense, you got to love it when your pitcher's just throwing strikes. You're always on your toes, ready for something to be hit to you. Never falling asleep, and he's not walking guys.
There's the 0-2. Ground ball, third base foul. To the left of Kyle Boudreaux. Yeah, it's always good when you can have the command. Nothing worse than a pitcher that can't find the strike zone. And right now the Beacons have done a good job of it. Here's the 0-2. Curveball swung on and missed. He struck him out. So Kaufman continues to cruise here in the 9th inning. 1 down. And it'll bring up Andrew Salta.
Left field number 35, Andrew Salta.
It's the first strike, or second consecutive strikeout for Kaufman. And the 7th overall for Beacons pitchers. Here's the first pitch, and that one's grounded through the hole. Lopez was playing deep. Nice play. He's not going to have a chance, but a good job and good effort to just get in front of it. But it's an infield single for Andrew Salta, and that's a 1-out base runner for Eric Lech. Lech on the afternoon, 0 for 2. A couple of ground outs. He's also been hit by a pitch and scored a run. From the stretch, Kaufman's first pitch right down the middle, 0-1. Goulet is on deck, but the Beacons would love to try to turn 2 to end this one. They're leading 10-4, looking to improve on the year to 23-9. As that one's popped up in play, I think, if Searles can find it, and he can. 2 down, as Searles, always good with the glove, delivers for his battery mate Kaufman, and now 2 down for Josh Goulet.
Right fielder number 13, Josh Goulet.
Goulet on the afternoon is 1 for 4, singled in his last at bat. There goes the runner. Defensive indifference, they'll let him go. So it's not a stolen base. Pitch was called a strike. Here's the 0-1. In the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. Kaufman's 1-1 to Goulet. Breaking ball popped up. Fowler over in fair territory. This should do it. And he makes the catch over the shoulder, and the Beacons have taken game 1 of the doubleheader against the Plymouth State Panthers. The final score, UMass Boston 10, Plymouth State 4. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have highlights of game 1, wrap things up, and get you ready for game 2. Again, the final, your Beacons 10, the visiting Panthers 4, right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Welcome back to the post-game show here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Scudra. Steve, what a game for the Beacons. The win goes to Dan Mantoni, who improves to 4-1. The loss to the starter for the visitors, Ryan Perro. He is now 0-2. And, of course, the save to Kaufman is first of the season. Offensively, the Beacons got the job done at the top of the order, and they got it done well. And that's exactly what you're looking for out of your run producers.
Absolutely. Mantoni gave up 4 or 5 runs. He won't be 4 runs. Won't be happy about it, but had a good game. He kept them in it the entire time. Didn't let anything blow up. Stayed in the strike zone. Only had 2 walks, I believe, maybe 3. 2 walks and a hit by pitch. Really stayed in the zone. Kept his team in it, and he crushed the ball at the plate. As you said, the top 4 guys for the Beacons really tearing apart this Plymouth State pitching staff, and I'd like to see them do that in the second game as well.
Certainly would. Let's take a look now at highlights of Game 1 as the Beacons win it by the final score of 10-4, and we begin with Josh Lopez getting his 100th hit.
Yeah, it may not sound like too many, but he did not play much last year. His freshman year, he had, I believe, 50 hits, maybe 40, 50 hits, so this is a big deal for him. Basically, in 2 years, getting 100 hits is very impressive.
That big caught stealing by Anthony Searles with the game in doubt, still 2-1 in the second. This would have put a runner in scoring position for the heart of the order, but Searles gunned him down.
Yeah, Plymouth State being such a team that's dependent on the stealing and taking bases whenever they can.
That was the pass ball of the wild pitch. Meanwhile, here's the hit-by pitch that we saw from Herzog, where we weren't sure if he really got on. This is the one with a beautiful catch from Kaufman, his first batter that he faced. And then this one is really the highlight of the day defensively, for me at least, the pickoff from Searles with the game still 8-4 and 2 men on base and 2 outs, and Garnett at the plate as they got Richard picked off, and that's just bad base running by Ryan Richard.
Yeah, you can't have that being Plymouth State if you want to win this game. You know Searles is a great catcher. He loves to pick off, throw behind runners and pick them off. And that should be in the scouting report. So you got to run the bases better, especially when your big hitters, Garnett and Krajewski, are up.
We'll have Game 2 in about 20 minutes' time as UMass Boston looks to complete a sweep of their rivals from Plymouth State. I believe Matt Sully's on the mound for that one for the Beacons, so we'll see who counters against him for Plymouth State. But we'll have all that and much, much more in just a little bit time right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Before I sign off, I do want to say thank you to our production team here in Game 1. We'll get their names up here on the screen. No thanks to Alyssa, who walked away when I There it is. The producer, Seth Orensky. Our directors, Rachel Maslak and Julia Murphy. Instant replay, Alyssa Fugelk. Our color commentator, of course, Steve Consiglio. Our camera operators, Maddie Byrne, Eileen Shee, Emily Steinberg, and Grace Fisher. And, of course, I am John Scudras. This has been a broadcast of the Beacons Broadcasting Network. UMass wins it 10-4. We'll be back in a few minutes with Game 2 of the doubleheader between Plymouth State and UMass Boston. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Scudras, ready for Game 2 of this doubleheader between your UMass Boston Beacons and the Plymouth State Panthers. Without further ado, let's take a look at the starting lineup for Plymouth State as they get set coming in at 15 and 16 to try to split this doubleheader. It is the same lineup as they had in Game 1. Josh Goulet in left field leading off. The center fielder Ryan Richard batting second. James Garnett at the hot corner batting third. Jared Krajewski is at first base batting cleanup. The second baseman, Nate Frederick. The designated hitter, Mitch Tulley. Now, they switched positions. In game one, it was the opposite. Batting seventh is Cam Ruziak, the catcher. Batting eighth, Andrew Salta, the right fielder. And the shortstop is Eric Leach, batting ninth. Defensively for UMass Boston, only one change from the starting lineup in game one, and that's the man who finished game one in center field. Sal Frascino will be starting it. That is not accurate. It will be Sal Frascino in center field. Nonetheless, that's the only difference between games 1 and 2. Everything else is accurate. Herzog in right, Nagel in left, Boudris and Hugie on the left side of the infield, Lopez and Fowler on the right, and Searles and Matt Tulley, the starting pitcher for game 2 for UMass Boston. Tulley on the campaign is 4-2. This will be his 9th appearance, 6th start, a 3.51 ERA. In 33 and a third innings, he struck out 39 while walking 20. So Steve, as we get set for game 2, the Beacons in game 1 really burnt out the hits as you see Tully's numbers there. What do you know about Matt Tulley, and what should we expect today from the right-hander?
He throws hard. He's going to sit around 90 miles an hour, and he's going to have a nasty slider that comes in around 85. It's a hard slider like you see the big guys in the bigs throw. Very tight, late break, and it's going to be very hard for the Plymouth State hitters to barrel it up or even get a piece of it.
Josh Goulet will be the first one to try to do it. He came in hitting .255, 1 for 5 in game 1. A wind up from Tulley, big right-hander's first pitch. Right down the middle for a strike, nothing in 1. Tulley, a Lowell native, standing 6'1", 210. The 0-1 pitch, that one is right down the plate again, nothing in 2 to Goulet. Tulley gets his sign. Here's the 0-2 pitch, just a bit outside, I suppose. They're going to check at first base. They'll say Goulet did not go. It's 1-2.
It was a strike in game 1. Hopefully the umpire stays consistent all game.
From the windup, Tully's 1-2 pitch.
That's a
he
slider.
went around, strike 3. That is a hard slider, and that is the first strikeout of the afternoon for Matt Tulley. Beautiful pitch there, and with one down, it brings up Ryan Richard. Richard, 1 for 4 in game 1. Was also picked off. Came into play hitting .369. First pitch is right down the middle, nothing in 1. So Tulley comes in throwing strikes here early on. Just what the doctor ordered. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball, just missed outside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Sorry about the previous scoreboard there. We just couldn't get it off from last game yet.
From the windup, the 1-1. That one's low. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ryan Richard with James Garnett waiting on deck.
Get that updated as soon as we can.
It is 0-0. 1 down, top of the first inning. 2-1 is slap foul off the screen. 2-2. Suppose if you're going to lose the scoreboard, best time to do it is in the top of the first inning. I almost lost all my paperwork. It would have been a hoot to see that fly through the crowd. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Richard as Tulley delivers right back up the middle. It's going to be a tough play for Lopez. Bare hands it, fires, and that's going to be off the mark. What a play by Lopez nonetheless, and a great effort from a player who is feeling very good out there. If he had made that play, send that one to WebGems.
Would have blown my mind.
I don't even know if they have baseball tonight anymore on ESPN with all the firings they just did.
Oh, true. I'm more of an MLB Network guy myself.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't watched ESPN in forever, but MLB Network, quick pitch, great programming. That one is away to Garnett, 1-0. Garnett in game 1 went 0 for 3 with a walk. He came in hitting .346, so not a lot of pitchers have been able to keep him without a hit, and the Beacons did that. Tulley takes a peek at Richard. The 1-0 pitch is outside, 2-0. Beacons lineup is the same as game 1, except Frascino is starting instead of Danny Brown in center, so the same as the end of game lineup for game 1. And they'll go up against Dylan Gaeta. Pickoff moves not in time. Gata, a sophomore from Melrose, and right-hander. Interesting to see how the Beacons square up on him. We'll get you his numbers in the bottom of the inning as the 2-0 is swung on and missed, they say, and that one gets away from Searles, which allows the runner Richard to move into scoring position.
There's a pass ball on Searles right there.
I believe he had one in game one as well. Actually, no, I think we switched that to a wild pitch, if I'm not mistaken. So now Tulley's going to have to bear down here against Garnett. Behind in the count, 2-1. Breaking ball, just missed outside, 3-1.
It's a good pitch from Tulley there. I thought it was a strike myself, but I guess it's just a little bit too far out for home plate up.
Of course, the umpire's switching between games, so the one that was in behind home plate is now on the base pass and vice versa. There's a 3-1. That one's fouled off the screen with a fastball, and now a full count coming up to Garnett. Beacons won game one, 10-4. Sent Plymouth State to 15-16 and 3-8 in the LEC. Beacons now 23-9 and 8-3 in conference play. The payoff pitch from Tulley, and it's a beautiful curveball called strike three. Searles dropped it, and so the runners will advance, or the runner at least from second advances. And yeah, that is correct. Another pass ball, back-to-back at bats. And so that puts a runner at third base, but with 2 outs. 2 strikeouts in the first inning for Tulley, and it'll bring up Jarek Krasevsky.
Number 31, Jarek
Krajewski came in hitting .248. 1 for 4 in game one with a double.
This is an interesting matchup for me because Mantoni really got Krajewski out with stuff moving away. His two-seam fastball that moved down and away from Krajewski, and his two-seam and his changeup, which really died and went down and away.
1-0, chopped off the foot of Krajewski, it looks like, 1-1.
Matt Tulley doesn't really have the stuff that moves away from Krajewski. He does have a better fastball and a better slider, but at the same time, he can't do what Mantoni did by going away, away, away. He's going to have to come in with a back foot slider and maybe even elevate the fastball to get him swinging out of the zone.
Out of the windup, the 1-1, and Tulley got him right out in front of that back foot slider, like you said. Clairvoyant here is Steve Consiglio. It's 1-2.
Now hopefully he can come back with a fastball up in the zone, really tie Krajewski up, and get him get in his head a little bit.
1 strike away from getting out of this one. Here's the 1-2 from Tulley, and it's fouled off the screen.
It's down the middle. If that's up 6 inches higher, he swings right through it.
Matt has 2 strikeouts already here, the first 2 outs of the game. A single from Ryan Richards sandwiched by those Ks. And a couple of pass balls has gotten Richard to third. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball back up the middle, and Hugie dives and knocks it down. Krajewski does not have good legs, and they got him at first base. What a play from Charlie Hugie. A diving play to his left, and a web gem robs the Panthers of a run here in the first inning. We are through 1/2 inning from Monin Park. Get some pep in your step. The Beacons are coming on up here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Scudras. What a way to end the top half of the first inning. We're getting set for the bottom half of the first inning. Let's take a look at the starting pitcher, Dylan Gaeta, 3-1 with a 4.24. Dylan on the year, 7th start. He's got 2 complete games and a shutout. Leads the team second on the team with 34 innings, 26 Ks, and 19 walks. Let's take a quick look at the Beacons lineup before Josh Lopez steps in, if we can. The Beacons bringing out the same lineup as Game 1 with the exception of Sal Frascino in there for Danny Brown. As the first pitch to Lopez is off the plate, 1-0.
Now, Gaeta, with his 2 complete games, I expect him to live in the strike zone and really not walk anybody, I guess. Be very efficient with his pitches and get deep into this game. He's been successful in the past, 3-1. I mean, ERA doesn't show much, but never know what could happen behind him.
There's a 2-0 pitch, two-seamer right there, 2-1. I mean, Dylan Gaeta, he's walked 19 in 34 innings, but opponents are hitting just .215 against him. That leads Plymouth State by about 30 points. There's a 2-1. 3-1, and Lopez works a good hitter's count here for the leadoff hitter for UMass Boston.
I'd like to get the explanation of why he didn't start Game 1.
Here's the 3-1. Ripped back up the middle, and Lopez stays scorching hot. What a year for Josh Lopez as his assault on opposing pitchers continues as he leads off this one with a base knock. In Game 1, Josh had 2 hits, reached base 4 times. So with Josh at first, it'll bring up the designated hitter, Dan Mantoni. Mantoni also had a fantastic Game 1 as the first pitch to him is down the middle for a strike. Dan brought the all together in the first inning, singling and scoring, part of a 3-for-5 day. He also had a walk. 3-for-4. As the 0-1 is in the dirt, gets away enough for Lopez to advance to second on a wild pitch.
It's a great dirt ball read by Lopez right there.
So that puts a runner in scoring position with nobody out here in the first inning. And the Beacons trying to throw a crooked number up on the board just like they did in Game 1. From the stretch, Gaeta's 1-1, breaking ball outside. 2-1 to Mantoni. Boudris waits on deck. In that first inning in Game 1, it was a single from Lopez and a single from Mantoni and an RBI single from Boudris that got the Beacons on the board. A fly ball and a sacrifice RBI for Fowler made it 2-0 after 1. The 2-1 from Gaeta, inside corner for a strike and at the shoelaces. Nonetheless, it is strike 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And with all those runs the Beacons scored in the first game, all the hits they had, they didn't have a home run. Surprised, but it might happen in this game.
From the stretch, Gaeta's 2-2 pitch. Curveball way up and in, 3-2. As Mantoni's worked the count full with Boudris on deck.
Wind blowing harder than Game 1. It may have a factor in today's game.
The payoff pitch, curveball, up and in for ball 4. So a good at bat for both Lopez and Mantoni. Dan works the walk. And just like in Game 1, runners at first and second with nobody out. And just like that, a meeting on the pitcher's mound after 2 batters. Not exactly what you'd consider orthodox, but who knows? The Beacons threatening here again, and the fact that Boudris and Fowler are both terrific left-handed hitters. Probably just going over some sort of strategy. A reminder, folks, to check out all your Beacons athletics on all of the social media avenues at Beacons Athletics on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Am I missing any? We don't have a Beacon Snapchat yet, do we? Only a matter of time. So Boudreaux steps up to the dish with 2 men on base and nobody out. Lopez with a single up the middle and a walk to Mantoni. Kyle in game 1, as mentioned, had an RBI, part of a 2-for-5 day. As that one gets away and the runners will advance. A wild pitch. And things continuing to deteriorate for Dylan Gaeta early on. He's got 2 wild pitches, a walk and a single, and runners are at second and third with nobody out.
Exactly where you want to be as the Beacons with your two big RBI guys coming up and 2 runners in scoring position. Got to score at least 1 right here with Boudreaux, and hopefully 1 more with Fowler.
That one's grounded to first. They're going to hold the runners. It's not going to get the job done as Krajewski will tag out Kyle. And so that's 1 down for the Beacons' best hitter, arguably, Chris Fowler. They'll be trying to extend that 25-game hitting streak. Fowler in game 1 had a 2-for-4 day with 4 runs batted in.
First baseman number 40, Chris Fowler.
He'd take a sac fly just like he had in the first inning, but a base hit would get 2. First pitch to Chris. Nice fastball. A little movement on that one. Nothing in 1. They're in at the corners. As the 0-1 pitch is slapped to first. Krajewski, they're going to try to score, and they're going to get the job done as Krajewski had to dive to his left. Good job by Lopez going on the crack of the bat. And that is an RBI ground out for Chris Fowler, his 5th RBI of the day. And that is another 3 unassisted put out. It's 1-0 UMass Boston.
I think Krajewski had Lopez dead to rights at home plate. He just didn't want to make the throw.
I agree. There's a nice block from Ruziak. It is Nick Herzog, right fielder. Nick in game 1, 0 for 2 with 3 walks. Came into play today hitting .285. Here's the 1-0. Swung on and missed. Taking a mighty hack at that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Luke Nagel is on deck, but now 2 outs. And the 1-1 pitch to Herzog on the outside corner, 1-2. Now if he gets Herzog and is able to get out of this allowing only 1 run, you really have to consider that a win for Gaeta and the Panthers.
Absolutely.
It was first and second, and then second and third with nobody out. Here's the 1-2 in the dirt. Another good block from Ruziak.
Gaeta kind of pitching like Johnny Cueto with these weird sudden stops and quick pitches. If you watch his leg kick, usually he does a high one, but right there he just quick pitched Herzog.
From the windup, here's a 2-2 pitch. Ground ball foul up the third base line. And if you haven't seen Johnny Cueto pitch, it is worth the price of admission in itself because he is herky-jerky wild out there.
Turns pitching into an art.
Certainly does. See if Gaeta can paint himself a masterpiece here to get out of the inning. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fly ball, foul. It's going to get out of play as Krajewski gave it a chase. Nonetheless, it remains 2-2. Runner at third is Mantoni. He walked. Lopez, who singled to lead off the inning, has already come in to score on the RBI ground out from Fowler. As that one is away. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Fowler now leading the team with 33 runs batted in. Gaeta gets his sign. The payoff pitch. Oh, up and in, and it takes the shoulder of Nick Herzog with it. And he will advance to first base on a hit by pitch. And so runners at the corners for Luke Nagel. And Luke had himself a day in game 1. 2 for 3 with a walk and a run scored, including a double.
The left fielder, number 26, Luke Nagel.
Our lunch just got here, which is great, but when you're a play-by-play guy, it can be the biggest tease in the history of the world. So Luke Nagel is up. Luke came into play today, hitting 333 with 5 driven in. Had himself a nice game 1, as this one is chopped just foul to the left of Krajewski. 0-1 to Luke. And it began with a Lopez single, followed by a walk to Mantoni. A couple of ground outs to first brought Lopez home. Hit by pitch as Herzog at first, and it's runners at the corners for Nagel. Here's the 0-1. Chopped off the end of the bat. That's going to go foul. And it's 0-2 to Luke Nagel. So Dylan Gaeta, the starter here in Game 2, making his 7th start. And as I mentioned, he does have a complete game shutout. In fact, he's got 2 complete games to lead his team. Here's the 0-2. There goes the runner. That's low. And not sure what. I think that was the plan, to try to throw back and see if Mantoni was going to break for home. But Dan smartly put down the anchor at third. And now the Beacons have 2 in scoring position. So Nagel will try to put the Beacons up by even more here. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's lifted left field. Salta coming in, and on one knee, he slides to make the play to retire the side. Good play out there by Salta as we are through 1 inning here from Monin Park. It's 1-0 UMass Boston on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Psychology is about understanding the individual and understanding the mind. The main reason why I want to combine psychology and business degrees is because I want to understand the business decisions that are made. I'm Nurçin Çelebi. I'm from Turkey originally. I'm a senior at the 5-year BA to MBA program at UMass Boston. I think in management the biggest mistake you can make is to not listen. So I want to be able to step into a company and say, here's what you're doing now, and here's how you can improve it. I moved here when I was 16 for high school. Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well, and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me. I wanted to be able to improve myself. I wanted to be able to try new things, and I think UMass gave me a really good head start on that.
Top half of the 2nd inning, Matt Tulley will try to continue the success he built on the 1st inning.
Leading off the Panthers, the designated hitter, number 9, Nate Frederick.
Nate Frederick will lead things off, DHing for the 2nd consecutive game. Was 1 for 4 with a double in game 1. His first pitch from Tulley is up and in, and ducking out of the way is Frederick. John Skudras, along with Steve Consiglio here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. 1-0 is called a strike on the inside corner. Looks like we'll be getting that call today. Mantoni got one called to the same place. Here's a 1-1. That one is ripped out of play. Tulley in the first struck out 2. Stranded a runner at 2nd base. Actually at 3rd base, excuse me. It's a 1-2. Curveball ripped. Deep left field. On the run, and in front of the warning track, making the play out there is Nagel. And so a deep fly out to left for Frederick. And a break for the Beacons as the wind is blowing from left to right, because if it was the opposite, that might be at least off the wall.
Could have been over the wall.
Certainly could have been, as Satulik will step in.
Second baseman, number 2, Mitch Satulik.
Satulik came into play today hitting .289, 1 bomb and 9 driven in. Went 0 for 4 in game 1. Tries to bunt there and pulls back in time, 1-0.
Gotta say, one of the hardest things as a broadcaster is trying not to sneeze when you have to.
Just gotta turn that mic down when that does happen, believe me. It's not the worst thing you can get caught on a hot mic doing. Or saying.
I don't want to know.
I myself have not been guilty of too much, but we've certainly seen it. As one's on the inside corner, 2-1 to Stulik. There was actually, during the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, as Tulley's 2-1 pitch is low, 3-1. The Flames series, I forget who they were playing in that first round, I think Anaheim. And in the Calgary broadcast, between intermissions, they got caught on a hot mic. One of the broadcasters, a former player, swung on a miss 3-2. Was caught on a hot mic calling Dougie Hamilton the dumbest hockey player he's ever heard. And a lot of things I can't even say on the air. Or repeat on the air, but it was caught on a hot mic, and it made me laugh. And certainly no love lost for Dougie Hamilton in Boston, as that one is down and away for ball 4.
Baseball season by then for me, to be honest.
Not a hockey guy?
No, not a hockey guy.
I need Matt Meisenbacher here to have that conversation.
Oh, yeah. Former hockey goalie for the Beacons.
Catcher, number 5.
Does the color commentary for Beacons men's and women hockey. So after the walk with 1 out to Satulik, it brings up Cam Ruziak. Ruziak's 1 for 4. And the catcher swings and misses at a nice curveball, 0-1. Came in hitting .273, 15 driven in.
See if Plymouth State tries to steal a base. 77 on the year now? 78 almost?
78 as the 0-1 pitch is off the outside corner, pickoff move, and a snap throw from Anthony Searles is late, but if we saw in game 1, you better be careful with Anthony behind the dish.
Perfect throw, he's out right there. Just missed a little up and out. Fowler couldn't slap the tag down quick enough.
Tulley working from the stretch, takes a peek over at first, the 0-2 pitch, chopped towards short. Hughie's only plays at second, and he got him. Nice play from Charlie Hughie, and an alert one at that as he goes to Lopez on a 6-4 putout. 2 down.
Quick hands by Hughie. I didn't think he had time to get Satulik at second. They cut him down, and Lopez was smart not to try the double play and throw it to first.
It'll bring up Salta, the left fielder. Hitting .286, 1 bomb, 7 driven in. He was 2 for 4 in game 1. Pickoff move not in time as Ruziak is back. Salta, the only Panther, as that one is low for a ball. The only Panther in game 1 with multiple hits. Tulley trying to get through the second inning unscathed. From the stretch, the 1-0 swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. If Andrew is able to reach, Eric Leach is on deck. Tulley from the stretch, the 1-1. Ground ball, Fowler makes the play. That's just foul. I think it's the right call. His momentum took him to the right of the foul line. Stays 1-2. Still an athletic play for Chris Fowler.
You can almost slide a piece of paper under that jump.
Here's the 1-2 coming up from Tulley to Salta. Low, and it gets away. And another, I think, well, we'll see. Is that a pass ball or wild pitch?
Wild pitch.
My esteemed colleague will say that's a wild pitch, and so we'll go with it. It was definitely looked like a cross-up. Because
Yeah, Searles was set up outside, and he threw that back foot slider. Just too far for Searles to go.
there goes the runner on 2-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. And they'll just have to do some housekeeping at first, and they do get the job done on the strikeout. So the third strikeout through the first 2 innings for Matt Tulley, and the Panthers strand yet another runner in scoring position. We are through 1.5 from Monin Park.
No runs, no hits.
Still 1-0 Beacons on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. We are through 1.5 from Monin Park. UMass Boston coming back up to the dish, and Anthony Searles will lead things off. I dropped my pen in my sandwich, so that's pleasant. Live TV, folks, or live webcast, never easy. Along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Skudras as Searles takes a mighty hack. It's 0-1. Anthony in game 1, a 0 for 3 day with 2 walks as a curveball's right there. Nice pitch, 0-2.
Got robbed a couple times, too.
He's hit the ball hard, nonetheless. Still struggling at the dish as the 0-2 pitch is up and away, 1-2. But his real value is what he does behind the dish and handling the pitchers. There's the 1-2 pitch, curveball, fouled up and out of play. Back in game 1, Steve, you mentioned that 3 positions, center field, shortstop, and catcher, you can do without offensive forces at those positions. And you said at this level, and I'll go beyond that and say even at the major league level, you don't see many catchers who are offensive forces behind the dish, and usually they are defensively stalwart, and that's why they have the jobs.
Yeah, that's why Buster Posey's so impressive. He won a batting title a couple years ago. He's got three rings to show for it, and he's just all-around great catcher. Definitely a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you have a guy like him. You have a guy like Yadier Molina, who's a great defensive catcher, a decent offensive catcher, but nothing to really write home about, as that's out of play off the bat of Searles. Still 1-2.
That's why the shortstop Dave Murphy going down was such a big hit for this team. He's top 2 easily, top 3 hitters on this team. Could be best, probably the best hitter on this team.
There's a 1-2, cut on and miss. Strike 3 as Searles goes down for the first out of the inning.
Dave hurt for the rest of the year, is redshirting, so he's got 1 more year left next year. But it was tough, and then it was musical chairs at shortstop, second base combo. Finally, Lopez won over the job back at second base, and Hughie came out of nowhere to play short.
At the same time, that could almost be a blessing that they will have Murphy next year. With the loss of Mantoni, you're going to need to keep his pop, at least get it back, as Sal Frascino steps in and takes one on the outside corner.
Well, you see a lot of people pick up the slack, Fowler especially. Boudris is doing the same thing he did last year, and Mantoni's finally back on track.
Sal rips it foul, 0-2.
And obviously Lopez is hitting over 400 now.
Yeah, Josh has really been eye-opening. He was great his freshman year, and then last year with the struggles, you really wondered if pitchers had just caught up to him, and clearly that's not the case because his adjustments that he's made and the training in the offseason has certainly paid off. From the windup, gate is 0-2, and Sal shoots that one opposite way and out of play. Now, at the same time as in the majors, there aren't many offensive catchers. Shortstop in recent years, the young shortstops in Major League Baseball, a lot of them can hit, and that's something we haven't seen really ever at that position.
Lindor, Correa. I mean, you could say Derek Jeter started a new generation. Derek Jeter, A-Rod, Nomar.
Xander Bogaerts is struggling now, but he's got the potential to be one of those guys. As that's on the inside corner, called strike 3, and Frashino goes down. That is the third strikeout of the game for Dylan Gaeta. And with 2 down, it'll bring up Charlie Hughie, who chose Selena Gomez as his walk-up music.
The shortstop, number 29, Charlie Hughie.
No comment.
Here's the first pitch to Charlie, who in game 1 had a couple of hits and an RBI. That one right there, 0-1. Caramba, here's the 0-1 pitch inside, and he plunked him. And Hughie didn't like it as he swings that bat and chucks it towards Josh Lopez, but that's a 2-out base runner.
Definitely wasn't on purpose, but it still hurts.
You wouldn't think, but you know what? It's a base runner. You'll take it.
Second baseman, number 14, Josh Lopez.
First pitch to Josh as Lopez takes it on the outside corner, 0-1. Lopez singled back in the first inning and scored the only run of the game as Steve Consiglio and his New York Mets extend their lead on the Nationals. Michael Conforto, 2 home runs today. And the Beacons, as you said earlier, no home runs yet in this doubleheader. But with the way the wind is blowing out, those lefties have a great shot.
Yeah, Lopez doesn't quite have the pop to get one over the fence. I do think he has one in the year. Not sure. Oh, and he hits him again.
He got hit again. So it's the second time Lopez has been plunked in the series, and the second consecutive batter that Gaeta has hit. And that puts 2 men on base with 2 down in the second. And you are right, Lopez does have a home run.
See, this is where, as a catcher, I would go out and talk to my pitcher.
Back-to-back hit by pitches after back-to-back strikeouts, and that puts 2 men on for Dan the Man Mantoni. First pitch to Dan, back up the middle, gobbled up at shortstop, and Leach will flip it over to second to retire the side. So the Beacons do strand 1, and as we head to the 3rd inning, it's still 1-0 UMass Boston on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
UMass is very public service focused, and it piqued my interest, and I started doing more research on it. I'm very focused on what can I do to make the world around me a better place. My name is Lydia Grasso. I'm a junior at UMass Boston studying sociology and minoring in human rights. Because I won the Chancellor's Scholarship at UMass, it allowed me to go to Cambodia. I was working at the Sihanouk Hospital Center of Hope. I was in the place of something horrible that had happened. I could either go home and kind of forget about that experience and kind of block it out, or I could do something so that things like that never happened again. UMass provides me with opportunities that I wouldn't get anywhere else and gives me a global perspective in a public setting. I definitely transformed at UMass.
Matt Tulley back on the mound for the Beacons. As we head to the 3rd inning, along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Scudris. Eric Leach is leading things off. Leach making his first appearance here today, as that one's way up and in, 1-0. Leach in game 1, 0 for 3 with a run. Came in hitting .297 with 7 driven in. There's the 1-0. That one's fouled out of play, 1-1.
87 miles an hour on that fastball. Tulley's a little, might have just been one, but he usually sits around 90, 92 even.
From the windup, the 1-1 from Tulley. Inside, almost got him, 2-1. Now, the last at bat of the last inning, and in between innings, we were asked, why is it bad to swing at the first pitch there? For our baseball novice listeners, parents or fans out there, why were you aggravated that Dan did that? As this is ground back up the middle, off the glove of the pitcher, Tulley. It's a 1-4-3 putout, and a beautiful effort by Josh Lopez.
I don't like Mantoni swinging in that first pitch there because clearly Guida was struggling a little bit, hitting 2 right-handed batters in a row. I mean, it might have been a good pitch strike for him, but I mean, you got to work the pitch count. He's already at 50 pitches. You got to see if you can get to the bullpen before the other team does.
And we're not dogging Dan Mantoni. We all, go out there and we've seen even the best guys swing at the first pitch, but I agree with you. As that one's on the outside corner, 0-1. He's hit back-to-back pitchers. He's up over 50 pitches in the second inning. See what you can get out of him. But Dan liked what he saw, and the rest is history. Wow. That swing is history for Josh Goulet, looking like he's swinging an oar out there. It's 0-2.
A good slider. Very good slider.
Goulet's 0 for 1. He struck out swinging back to lead off the game. Here's the 0-2, and he shoots one deep right field. That's trouble with the wind. Way back on the run is Herzog, making a play in front of the wall and collapsing in front of the fence. A great effort and a great catch made out there by Nick Herzog as he robs a hit from Josh Goulet. And with Goulet's speed, if that hits the ground, it's at least 3.
That's Tulley having to buy not only Charlie Hughey dinner, but also Nick Herzog tonight.
Might go broke by the end of the afternoon at this rate. McDonald's dollar menu. Even though that's not really a thing anymore, is it? I haven't been there in a while.
I think it's the value menu now.
They don't pay us. Let's not give them any sponsorship. Here's the 1-0. And that one's shot right back to short. Charlie Hughey makes the play on the humpback liner from Richard, who's now 1 for 2. And that is a quick 1-2-3 inning for Matt Tulley. And everything's coming up Tulley so far through 2.5 innings. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's 1-0 UMass on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Psychology is about understanding the individual and understanding the mind. The main reason why I want to combine psychology and business degrees is because I want to understand the business decisions that are made. I'm Nurçin Çelebi. I'm from Turkey originally. I'm a senior at the 5-year BA to MBA program at UMass Boston. I think in management the biggest mistake you can make is to not listen. So I want to be able to step into a company and say, here's what you're doing now, and here's how you can improve it. I moved here when I was 16 for high school. Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well, and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me. I wanted to be able to improve myself. I wanted to be able to try new things, and I think UMass gave me a really good head start on that.
Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. For Steve Consiglio, I'm John Skudras, getting set for the bottom of the 3rd inning. Kyle Boudris leading it off. First pitch to Kyle is right there, 0-1. Kyle's 0 for 1. He grounded out to first unassisted in the 1st inning. And that one's shot to first again. Short hop, nice play by Krajewski to keep it in front of him, and he lumbers over to first for the out. And so Kyle's grounded out 3 unassisted twice, and that's 1 down for Chris Fowler. Fowler 0 for 1 with a run batted in. He's now got 5 driven in
First baseman
through
number
the
40,
first
Chris Fowler.
11 innings of this doubleheader. Here's the first pitch to Chris in the dirt, 1-0. Sorry, Steve, forgot to pot you up.
It's all right. I just took a big bite of my sandwich. Wrong time.
It's never wrong to take a bite of the sandwich. Here's a 2-0 coming up here to Fowler, who's got a hitter's count. Base is empty, 1 out, and Chris takes the hack but pulls it foul, 2-1. We'll get a LEC scoreboard update in a bit. Of course, a lot ongoing across the Little East Conference in the last week or so, and it all impacts the Beacons. Came into play tied for second in the conference. Here's a 2-1. Off-speed pitch up, 3-1. From the windup, 3-1 pitch, and Fowler again on top of that one. Rolls over, 3-2. So a full count coming up here to Chris Fowler from Dylan Gata. The payoff pitch is foul off the screen. Gata from the windup. 3-2 pitch, ripped to right center. That's extra bases, perhaps. Drops down in front of Richards. I think Fowler thought about testing it and smartly holds up. So it is a single.
26 games.
And that is correct, Steve. 26 consecutive games with a hit for Chris Fowler. The Major League record, 56, by Joe DiMaggio, is one that I'm not sure will be broken in a long time, if ever.
I don't think it'll ever be broken in the majors. Too many specialty pitchers and strikeout hitters these days. But in D1, there was a 2-year streak kept alive. I think it was like something like 70 games, but I don't remember who it was. Somebody from Coastal Carolina, I think.
There's the 1-0 pitch, ripped for a base hit by Herzog. Nick's been on base twice, his first hit of the day. And the Beacons are cooking here in the 3rd inning. 2 men on base with 1 out for Nagel.
The left fielder, number 26, Luke Nagel.
Luke struck out to end the 1st inning. And he's 0 for 1. Had a couple of hits in game 1. Gata takes a peek back and now comes home. And that one is right there, 0-1. Gata from the stretch, the 0-1 pitch. In the dirt, good block. Bruziak getting a knee down to keep that one from getting away and hold the runners at 1st and 2nd. A beautiful day for baseball here in Boston, Massachusetts, as Gata brings a 1-1 home. Line drive. Oh, a short hops Leach, and it's going to allow both runners to advance, and everybody is safe. So Leach got caught in between trying to catch the ball and trying to get it on the ground ball, and he ends up getting eaten alive by a short hop, and the bases are full of Beacons with 1 out for Anthony Searles.
This is a big at-bat for Searles right here because he does strike out a lot, but he's got to find a way to put this ball in play and score a run.
We'll get a look at the LEC scoreboard in a moment after this at-bat.
Searles doesn't necessarily need to have a hit, but he needs to have a productive out, which is a fly out to the outfield or a ground ball and that he could beat out, so it's not a double play.
Anthony's got catcher's wheels, so we'll see. A little bit better than what you typically call catcher wheels, like Molino wheels, which are basically Mack truck wheels. Here's a 1-0. That one's on the outside corner, 1-1. Or Mantoni wheels.
Mantoni wheels.
Here's the 1-1. In the dirt, another block from Ruziak, 2-1. Yeah, you said it. I mean, Doesn't have to get a hit. Fly ball gets you that second run. With the bases loaded, anything on the ground's tough. Unless Anthony can beat out a ground ball up the middle. Gaeta gets his sign. Here's the 2-1. Ripped up the middle. It's caught in a double play. Really nothing you can do there. Just bad luck, as Herzog can't even fault him for that. A line drive to second base. Snagged out there on a play made by Satulik, and Mitch takes it to the bag to retire the side. So bad luck with the bases loaded and less than 2 outs. We head towards the 4th inning. It's 1-0 UMass Boston on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
UMass Boston is my first choice because of the incredible theater department.
Because it has an excellent honors college.
Because here I get to interact with professors one-on-one.
Because I'm not going to be crazy in debt when I graduate.
Because at UMass Boston, I've met professors who have changed my life.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
Make the University of Massachusetts Boston your first choice. Visit umb.edu/first choice.
As we head towards the 4th inning, let's take a time to look at the Little East Conference scoreboard. You see there, Keene State falling 9-3 to Southern Maine, so they provided the Beacons with absolutely no help. The anchormen of Rhode Island College triumphed over Western Connecticut State by a final of 6-5, and UMass Dartmouth defeated Eastern Connecticut State 15-2 as the Corsairs took their aggression out on EastCon on the road.
And that locks up a 1 or 2 seed for Southern Maine. The only person that could beat them out is Dartmouth if they sweep them at the end of the season.
That one is a tough pill to swallow, but you know what? That's the way the cookie crumbles. Beacons will beat whoever you put in front of them. They'll at least try to. Leading off here in the 4th inning, it's going to be James Garnett. Garnett's 0 for 1 with a strikeout, 0 for 4 in the doubleheader.
That's so important for UMass Boston because the trip up to Southern Maine might be one of the worst in the books. Always hate going up there. They got a field that there's a clear home field advantage, and they just know how to win up there.
It's 2 balls and no strikes from Tulley to James Garnett. Be Garnett, Krajewski, and Frederick. 3-4-5. Here's the 2-0 on the outside corner. That's outside, but they've been getting that call, both teams today, and so as long as it's consistent. There's a 2-1 from Tulley, popped up out of play. Chris gave it a look, but Fowler will let it go. It's 2-2 to James Garnett. Here's a 2-2. A little bit low. Very close pitch, and now the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Tulley steps off, and they'll go through the signs again. Postseason baseball coming up in May as the Beacons will take on their rivals in the Little East tournament. The 3-2 on the outside corner, called strike 3 with a curveball, and Garnett was completely fooled by the choice of going with the hook. 1 down. Of course, your Mets have been in postseason baseball the last 2 years. How'd that work out in the 1-game wild card playoff last year? I forget. Oh, yeah.
Hey, how the Phillies doing in the playoffs? Ooh, they didn't make it.
Yeah, well, we've won a World Series like 22 years more recently than you, so I'll take it. Here's the first pitch to Krajewski, and that one is there for a strike, 0-1. You should see the look. He's just staring off in the left field to avoid breaking an FCC violation or 2.
Might just go home now.
It's a 1-1 as that one misses outside. It's a great thing about baseball broadcasts is it's not all like hockey where everything's always happening. You have time to chat as that one's back up the middle. Great backhand. Lopez fires from his back leg and retires Krajewski. What a fantastic play yet again from Josh Lopez. Boy, oh boy. Somebody get me his autograph. He is outstanding this afternoon. 2 down. Steve Consiglio actually just signed Josh Lopez for me, so I appreciate that.
Do what I can.
There's the first pitch, shine away, 1-0 to Nate Frederick. Frederick flew out to left his first time up, 1 for 4 in game 1. Came in hitting .313. Tell you what, Tulley's working efficiently here as that one is grounded out of play. He's retired 7 consecutive, actually.
Around 55, almost 60 pitches. Could be better in the 68 pitches. He could be better, but he'll definitely get through 6 if he continues on this pace.
Whew, high heat blows away Frederick, and it's 1-2.
He throws hard. It's in the scout.
There's the 1-2 pitch. Line down the right field line. Foul just by a couple of feet. And it stays 1-2 to Nate Frederick. Same lineup for the Panthers as in game 1. Down to a T. And, I mean, it's been a lineup that's been successful in the past, but just inconsistent. It's a team that put up 20 runs against NEC a couple of weeks ago. And right now, only 1 hit through 3 2/3 against Matt Tulley. There's the 1-2. Curveball up and away, 2-2. NEC, New England College.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
The 3-2 is fouled away. Remains 3-2. Wind picking up here. Look at the flag out in right center. Really blowing towards right as this one is ripped towards that direction. It's going to be tough, and Herzog's not going to get there as he tumbles down. Extra bases here for Frederick, who will hold up at second. He should have gone to third, but we'll take it. You don't want to get thrown out to end the inning, but probably would have made it. But it's a 2-out double, and that puts a runner in scoring position for Mitch Satulik.
It's a tough read by Herzog, but you can see he overran it, and the wind took it over his head the other way, and he kind of slipped, which is why Frederick should have taken third base, but he picked up his coach and didn't go.
Plymouth State has scored double-digit runs 7 times this year, most recently in that 20-5 win over New England College. We've also done it against WestCon, Framingham State, EastCon, and twice against Vassar. In a doubleheader down in Florida, they swept by a combined score 20-5. As that one was fouled out of play by Satulik. Beacons also with 7 double-digit games. Here's the 0-1. Popped up.
It's out of play.
That is going to be out of play just by a couple of yards.
Too much wind.
Satulik walked in his first at bat. Was then retired on a 6-4 fielder's choice back in the second. He was 0 for 4 in game 1, hitting .289 coming into play today. Tulley trying to get out of it. Here's the 0-2 outside, 1-2. Grandma over here rooting on Matt Tulley. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up. Oh, late timeout. I don't know about that one, but Satulik gets it. That was a pretty breaking ball.
Late call. Pitchers always hate that.
I've seen it before where they don't grant him it. Even if the batter like steps out, they still call it. Here's the 1-2 outside, 2-2. Still 2-2 with 2 outs here. Beacons leading 1-0 top half of the 4th inning. Runner at second base is Frederick. Matt Tulley from the stretch. The 2-2 pitch, fouled again, out of play behind us. 70 pitches now for Matt Tulley in only the 4th inning. He's only gotten 2 hits against him.
Couple of walks. 1 walk and just deep counts.
From the stretch, Matt Tulley's 2-2 pitch is outside, and as you said it, here's another deep count, 3-2 to the second baseman, Mitch Satulik. Tulley is ready. The 3-2 pitch, skied, a mile high but playable. Lopez calls for it. Fowler is near him, but Lopez does squeeze it to make the play to retire the side. And so the 2-out double is all for naught as Tulley's able to tiptoe his way out of trouble. No runs on 1 hit and 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Still 1-0 UMass Boston on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. There's a lot of people. Here there's a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, so it's so much better to have like an advisor helping you out, like telling you which classes.
It will be 8-9-1 for UMass Boston here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Scudris. Sal Frascino leading things off. Sal struck out looking in the 1st inning.
Hitting off for the Beacons, the center fielder, number 20, Sal Frascino.
After Sal, it'll be Charlie Hughey and Josh Lopez. Gaeta still in the game. First pitch is swung on and fouled back, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 to Frascino inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Beacons lead at 1-0. Here's the 1-1. That one's off the outside corner, 2-1. That 1 run came back in the bottom of the 1st inning. As the 2-1, back up the middle, and Sal's got himself a base hit. First hit of the doubleheader for Sal Frascino. Actually, second, because he did have a bunt single back in game 1. And that is a leadoff base runner for Charlie Hughey. In that 1st inning, Josh Lopez led off with a single, shocker, and then a walk from Dan Mantoni. 2 batters later, Chris Fowler grounded out to first to bring home Josh. And that is the only run.
Wouldn't be surprised if Coach Agarbo puts on a fake bunt steal here, right here. Nope.
Instead, it's on the outside corner, 0-1. Charlie was hit by a pitch his first time up. Ended up being stranded as part of that 2 hit by pitch inning. That one in the dirt, and Ruziak struggled to pick it up, or else Sal was in trouble. But despite the block, Cam Ruziak could not field it from the turf, and it's 1-1. It's 1-1 to Charlie Hughie. As that one's away, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Just a correction. That is a stolen base for Sal because he took off as soon as the ball hit the dirt.
Or the metaphorical dirt as the 2-1.
Turf.
This is one I missed. No, I'm saying, honestly, it took me about 14 broadcasts in to realize that's not actually dirt. I know it's weird, but like, you don't usually see brown turf. Nor do you usually see people playing on turf with no dirt. All right, whatever, Steve. He's staring me down. It's still 2-2 to Charlie Hughie.
Very confused right now. That looks like turf.
But it
smells like turf, feels like turf.
Oh, I have not felt it, tasted it, or smelled it, as that one is grounded to second base by Hughie. And that advances the runner over to third with only 1 out, so a good piece of hitting. 4-3 on the putout, 1 away. If you look at it on the screen, I guarantee you can't tell that that's turf.
Just look at the baselines.
How can you tell from the baselines that that's turf?
Because when someone runs,
okay,
the chalk doesn't pop up.
Oh, the observations I make when watching baseball, I don't often watch the chalk coming up from their feet. Just me, though. It's a 1-0 pitch to Lopez, who's 1 for 1. He singled and scored and was hit by a pitch.
I thought it was a completely elementary observation, but that's just me.
Well, I guess there are certain things that boggle even the greatest of minds.
Yeah, okay. Greatest of minds. Who do you include in that?
You know, Socrates, Aristotle, John Skudras. The 2-0 is popped shallow right field.
It's not deep enough.
And we'll see what they decide to do with Sal. He tags, they're sending him. The throw in is not in time. Sal Frascino sliding through, and he delivers on a sacrifice fly from Josh Lopez. It's an RBI for Josh, a run for Sal, and it's 2-0 UMass Boston.
My brother Matt Consiglio just kind of chimed in. He said it's a different color than the mound, which is clearly dirt.
You know what? That is a very good point. And now I do feel like an idiot.
That's all I wanted to do.
So Mantoni steps in. He is 0 for 1. Walked and grounded out. That's somehow on the outside corner, 0-1. I guess I just never really put too much thought into it until right now. But yeah, you're right. Now that I notice the pitching now. Just have to be more observant, I guess.
It's all right.
Not like I'm focused on 18 other things while I'm here. For the color of the turf. As that one's back up the middle, and a base hit for Dan Mantoni, his first hit of the day.
For all you Mets fans out there, the Mets did beat the Nationals.
All you Mets fans out there.
Well, I know there's at least one.
Hey, more power to him.
Thanks.
Third baseman number 15, Kyle Boudris.
Brings up Kyle Boudris, who is 0 for 2. A couple of ground outs to first base. It's 1 ball and no strikes. That missed low.
Wouldn't be surprised if a few of the New Yorker family were tuning in. Nick Herzog, for example, is a Mets fan. Anthony Searles is a Mets fan.
Oh, I knew there was something wrong with Anthony when he's doing those hockey directing for our broadcast. I knew it.
Says the Phillies fan of all people.
You know what? Takes pride to root for such poor teams. That one is not in time. Can't help where I was born. That's all I can say. At least I'm not a Cowboys fan from
Agreed.
Philly.
Sorry, Sal.
Here's the 2-0. That's high 3-0 to Kyle Boudris, who had gone after the early fastballs from Gaeta earlier on in this game. Grounded out to first twice.
Almost forgot Steve Witkowski, not a Mets fan.
Well, Witkowski is a unique character in himself. I think anyone who's met Steve could see he's either a Mets fan or something even more like obscure, like an Expos fan still left over from the days or something like that. It's 3-1 now to Boudris.
Colt 45 fan. Real
wow,
throwback.
Houston Colt 45s. There you go. There's a 3-1. On the outside corner, 3-2.
Good pitch by Gaeta right there.
Yeah, Gaeta's scattered hits. I mean, he hasn't had a perfect inning yet, but he's doing a good job of limiting the damage. Here's a 3-2. There goes the runner low for ball 4. And so runners at first and second with 2 down, and that'll bring up Chris Fowler, and that's bad news for Gaeta and company.
First baseman number 40, Chris Fowler.
2-0 Beacons. Bottom half of the 4th inning of game 2 is the first pitch to Fowler's ripped to second. It's through! That one deflects off the glove of the second baseman, and unable to recover is Tulley. He did enough to at least prevent a run from scoring by knocking it down, but it does load the bases for the Mets fan, Nick Herzog.
That is an error. Tough play, but tough scoring. It is an error.
Right fielder number 34, Nick Herzog.
So Herzog steps in. He is 1 for 1, hit by a pitch and singled, as that one is up, 1-0. Gaeta gets his sign, working out of the windup. The 1-0 pitch popped up in play. That's playable. And Krajewski felt that warning track, and so he was tiptoeing towards the fence and didn't want to get dirty. That's a play I think that is tough. It's a play that could have been made. I don't say I'm going to say he should have made it. Here's a 1-1. Nice breaking ball, 1-2.
That's where you got to almost be like an outfielder. Find the fence first and track the ball. I mean, Fowler makes that play. You've seen him dive against the fence before, almost jump over.
Yeah, saw him climb it before. It's 1-2 nonetheless to Herzog with the bases full of Beacons. From the windup, Gaeta's 1-2 in the dirt. Good block from Rusiak. No chance that he went. It's 2-2. You're right about Gaeta. When he gets his leg up, holds it there for a beat or two. Very unorthodox and awkward.
Sometimes he doesn't even do a leg kick either. Weird. Different. Not necessarily weird.
Nothing wrong with being weird. Here's the 2-2. That one's grounded towards shortstop. Leach gobbles it up, fires across the diamond in time to retire Herzog and the Beacons. So UMass Boston threatens. They do score 1 run, but they had a chance for much, much more. We are through 4 innings here in Game 2 from Monin Park. It's 2-0 UMass Boston on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
We head towards the 5th inning here from Monin Park. Along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Skudris. It's 2-0 UMass Boston. The wind picking up here in the broadcast booth at least. And it'll be 7-8-9, beginning with Cam Ruziak facing off against Tulley here in the 5th. Ruziak is 0 for 1. He reached on a fielder's choice, 6-4 back in the 2nd. That one's up for ball 1. Ruziak, Salta, and Leach. There's the 1-0. Breaking ball. And Anthony Searles, myself, and the entire crowd. Not sure where that one missed, but it did. 2-0. 2-0 pitch is on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. From the windup, Tulley's 2-1. Sky shallow right field. Wind taking it a little deeper. Herzog is there. And Nick is in his tracks to make the play for the first out. Bring up Andrew Salta. Struck out swinging back in the 2nd inning.
Number 35, Andrew Salta.
Salta from the left side was 2 for 4 in game 1. Here's the first pitch from Tulley. Nice breaking ball. 0-1. Beacons have won 6 consecutive games. Try to make it 7 today before they take to Endicott College on, what's May 1st, Monday? Monday.
Endicott's coming here. Another home game.
Yep, Endicott at home, Salve Regina at home, then on the road to Amherst, and then Westcon at home, and that wraps it up.
Salve Regina is actually ranked in the top 25 in D3.
1-2, and fouling that one off his foot is Salta, and he'll feel that one tomorrow. That one is on the outside corner, called strike 3. He struck him out. 2nd out of the inning, and the 4th strikeout of the game for Matt Tulley.
Say 4th? 5th?
I have 4.
Yeah, he's got 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. What am I missing?
1, 2.
The one I didn't count. 5. There's Eric Leach. The 1-0. Rip foul off the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. UMass Boston leading 2-0. 2 down, top half of the 5th inning. From the windup, Tulley's 1-1 on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Matt Tulley continuing to hit the strike zone, looking for strikeout number 6.
Now, in the first inning, the umpire was not given that call. Clearly, he's changed his ways from the 2nd inning on.
Curveball's fouled off the screen. Base is empty, 2 down here in the top of the 5th. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. He struck him out. 6 strikeouts, 2 here in the inning. And the inning is over as we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Beacons lead it 2-0 here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Coming up in the bottom half of this inning for the Beacons.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university.
UMass Boston coming up here in the bottom of the 5th inning as Luke Nagel steps in. And the first pitch there from Gaeta is up and away, 1-0. Along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Skudris. It's 2-0 UMass Boston here in the bottom of the 5th. Beacons looking to sweep the doubleheader against Plymouth State. That one low. 2 balls and no strikes. From the wind-up, the 2-0 from Gaeta, and that's on the outside corner. The Panthers had to use 4 pitchers. Ryan Perot, Brady Larson, Kyle McCarthy, and Alex Larson in Game 1. And there is nobody warming for either team as the 2-1 is up, ball 3, 3-1. UMass Boston leading at 2-0. Here's a 3-1 from Gaeta to Nagel. Curveball, up and away, ball 4, and a leadoff walk for Luke Nagel. That'll bring up Anthony Searles. Searles is 0 for 2. He struck out swinging in the second and lined into a 4 unassisted double play in the third. Searles steps in. First pitch, there goes the runner. Swung on and missed, hit and run, and Nagel beats it. Nice slide for Nagel as the throw was just towards the third base side of the bag, and that allowed Nagel to beat it out. And Rusiak's not happy, and now he's arguing with the home plate umpire.
He wants batter interference on Searles.
Always a good idea as a catcher to argue with the umpire. It's not like you need him or anything. Nonetheless, Luke Nagel is now at second with nobody out. The 0-1. In the dirt, good block.
Searles is an interesting guy to hit and run with because he swings and misses so much, but Coach Agerbro trying to get Searles back on any way he can.
He missed on that one, but it worked nonetheless. And pickoff move with no one covering. Almost disaster. Gaeta ready. Here's the 1-1. Ground ball, third base, foul. 100th pitch coming on up. Luke now has 3 stolen bases this year, 0 times caught stealing.
I believe number 12 is warming up for Plymouth State in their bullpen.
If that is an accurate report, it would be Jeff Ko. He's made 5 appearances, has a 2-1 record. There's a 1-2 curveball swung on and missed, and Searles goes down swinging. So the struggles continue for Anthony. His second strikeout of the day, sandwiched around a double play. Even though that double play was hard hit. And with 1 down, it brings up Sal Frascino.
The center fielder, number 20, Sal Frascino.
Frascino 1 for 2, singled and scored in the 4th and struck out looking in the 2nd. Now he squares around, pulls it back, 1-0. It would make no sense for Sal to be bunting here, so probably just
Be bunting for a hit if the third baseman's playing back.
I suppose. Why would you do that with a runner at second? As that's off the glove, and that might be a hit, and it will be. An infield single off the glove of the pitcher.
Put the ball on the ground, John. Put the ball on the ground.
He didn't bunt it, though.
I said before in the beginning of the game, speed doesn't slump, put the ball on the ground. Especially when you're as fast as Sal.
You take your Joe Madden small ball philosophy and, take it to New York with the Mets in last place.
Win today.
Charlie Hughey is on the right-handed and there goes Sal Frascino, caught stealing as he was picked off. So much for speed there as he's picked off for the second out of the inning. And so 2 down now with a runner at third base. And Hughey takes the first pitch high. 1 ball and no strikes to Charlie, who is 0 for 1. Grounded out in the fourth, and he was hit by a pitch. One 0 on the outside corner, 1-1. UMass Boston up 2-0. 2 down here in the 5th inning. The 1-1 pitch in the dirt. Good block from Rusiak as Luke Nagel's bearing over at third base, hoping for a chance to break for home. This inning began with a Nagel walk, a strikeout from Searles, then an infield single for Frascino. Here's the 2-1, swung on and missed. It's 2-2. However, Sal was picked off first on the ensuing pitch. And that's where we stand right now with a man at third base and 2 down. Here's the 2-2 curveball out of play. Back behind us. It's 2-2 now with a man at third base. 2 down. The pitch outside, ball 3. So the count will be full to Charlie Hughey with Josh Lopez on deck. Now keep in mind that Lopez is 1 for 2 today, but he is one of the best hitters in the Little East Conference this year, and so you thought they might want to go right after Charlie. Instead, it's ball 4. And Hughey works a walk. He's been on base twice, and runners are at the corners for the Beacons' leading hitter.
Good take by Hughey there. Slider, pretty good pitch by Gaida, but it's got to be in the strike zone, especially with Lopez on deck.
And now Cam Rusiak will provide some signals to his infield. 2 down, runners at the corners for Josh Lopez, who today in game 2 is 1 for 2 with an RBI, a run, and he was hit by a pitch. First pitch from Gaeta is on the outside corner, 0-1. Gaeta from the stretch gets his sign. The 0-1 pitch, ripped foul, out of play, 0-2. The runner at third is Nagel, the runner at first, Hughey. And Josh Lopez, the batter, trying to add another insurance run. There goes the base runner from first. That one's low, and a successful steal for Charlie Hughey as 2 men in scoring position.
Love that decision by Coach Eikerbrodt right there. Get 2 guys in scoring position, break this game open to a 4-0 lead, especially with the hot bat of Lopez up.
Count now 1-2 to Josh with 2 men in scoring position. That's high, 2-2. So the Beacons leading by 2 with 2 men in scoring position and a 2-2 count with 2 outs, looking to deliver. Gatehoff gets his sign. The payoff pitch, that one's ripped foul and way out of play. Construction workers are going to find a lot of balls in their construction area out there on Monday.
$4.75 a piece. Go sell them.
Here's the 2-2, and that one's shot into right center field. Coming on in to make the play and retire the side is Goulet, and that will bring us to the end of the 5th inning. So the Beacons do threaten. They get 2 men on base and the benefit of 1 hit, and they strand 2 as well. We head towards the 6th. It's still 2-0 UMass Boston on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Psychology is about understanding the individual and understanding the mind. The main reason why I want to combine psychology and business degrees is because I want to understand the business decisions that are made. I'm Nurçin Çelebi. I'm from Turkey originally. I'm a senior at the 5-year BA to MBA program at UMass Boston. I think in management the biggest mistake you can make is to not listen. So I want to be able to step into a company and say, here's what you're doing now, and here's how you can improve it. I moved here when I was 16 for high school. Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well, and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me. I wanted to be able to improve myself. I wanted to be able to try new things, and I think UMass gave me a really good head start on that.
We head towards the 6th inning here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Let's take a look at a game reset. As you see here on your screen, UMass Boston leading it 2-0. They have 7 hits and have committed 0 errors. Meanwhile, Plymouth State, no runs on 2 hits with 1 error to their detriment. Matt Tulley, 5 innings, 6 strikeouts, no runs allowed. Josh Lopez is 1 for 2 with a RBI and a run. And Chris Fowler, 1 for 3 with an RBI. So UMass Boston, we have now potentially a change, or a discussion at least, as Plymouth State is talking with the home plate umpire. That is head coach Clay Jenkins. Not sure what the discussion is. You'd think maybe just a change, but usually doesn't take that long to announce that. Goulet is the leadoff hitter here in the 6th inning. He is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout.
Clay Jenkins, that just sounds like a baseball name.
It does. More so than Josh Goulet. Sounds
a little bit French.
Yeah, I was going to say like a hockey player. But we've already established that's not your thing.
No. Probably would have said painter myself.
Painter. There's the first pitch to the painter, Josh Goulet, as that one is painted right on the inside corner, 0-1. Goulet was 1 for 5 in game 1. He's 0 for 2 here in game 2. The 0-1 pitch is right down the middle for a ball. It's 1-1.
Not sure if we're watching the same game here, John, as the umpire, at least.
Oh, well, I never feel like I'm watching the same game as the umpire, as the 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed. Goulet trying to reach the fences on that, but he reaches nothing but a 1-2 count. 1-2 from Tulley, and that's on the outside corner, called strike 3. So Josh Goulet strikes out for the 2nd time today. 1 down here in the 6th for Ryan Richard. UMass Boston leading 2-0 on a beautiful performance on the mound. Quietly effective is Matt Tulley. Seems like he's just been cruising since the third inning, and he's only allowed one base runner.
Not very efficient, though. He's up around 90 pitches already. And this could be his last inning if he doesn't get through it on the next few pitches.
Even so, he's retired 11 of 12, dating back to the end, or actually 12 of 13, dating back to the end of the second, as that one's on the outside corner, 2-1. Beacon still hoping to get a sweep here and still hoping to catch Southern Maine, but their hopes of that have severely diminished over the course of today.
Umpire's getting an earful from the fans and a little bit from the Plymouth State bench.
There's a 3-1. That one's right down Broadway, 3-2. Well, you know what? That's the price you pay for being an umpire, I suppose. Here's the 3-2 from Tulley, and that one's grounded towards second. Lopez, a bad hop, and that eats him alive. That'll be an error on Josh Lopez. And that's a tough one to swallow because it puts the tying run up at the dish in the form of the three-hole hitter, James Garnett.
Third baseman number 24, James Garnett.
Can't even make the argument that it hit a pebble since it's all turf.
No, but it does get that weird rotation on the ball, that double skip hop kind of thing. It happens a lot more in lacrosse, I guess, or with a lacrosse ball, where the ball just kind of spins and takes off that third, fourth bounce.
I've been on this field, but I haven't felt it. Does it have those little rubber beads in there that pop up?
Yeah, the cut-up tires.
Yeah.
Yep, they're everywhere.
So awkward.
Yeah, but if you don't have that, when you try and run on the turf, you tear your knees in half.
Like the old Veterans Stadium.
Well, that's part of the problem with Rogers Field up in Toronto.
Yep.
Troy Tulowitzki's having trouble running on it, playing on it, keep his hamstrings healthy. That's what Jose Reyes was always out on an injured reserve.
That old AstroTurf, it's not good.
Not
it's
good.
A relic from the 70s.
Yep.
2-0 and pickoff move, not in time. Nonetheless, the error in a game, in a series, really, that seemed so dominant by the Beacons, the tying runs up, and it's a guy who knows how to deliver. It's James Garnett. And then after that, it's Krasevsky, who has 5 home runs this year. Meeting on the mound is UMass Boston starter Matt Tulley. Continues here into the 6th. I believe you said he's now over 100. So
he's 98.
98. So he's just about at 100. This should be his last inning, as the Beacons do have a righty warming.
I believe it's Fernando Burgos.
I remember you mentioning that we'd be seeing him today. So
no, Joe Maguire.
So Maguire's warming. Here's the 2-0 from Tulley. Ground ball, third base, gobbled up at third by Boudris. To second for one, over to first, a double play. And the inning is over. A 5-4-3 twin killing. Boudris to Lopez to Fowler, and the Beacons are out of trouble here in the 6th inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th. It's still 2-0 UMass Boston here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. New pitcher for the Plymouth State Panthers. It is going to be number 12, the sophomore from Londonderry, New Hampshire, right-hander Jeff Ko. Ko on the season is 2-1. This will be his 6th appearance, 3rd in relief. Got a 4.95 ERA. 20 innings, giving up 21 hits, 15 runs, 11 of them earned, while striking out 21 and walking 11. Jeff Ko, the right-hander, now on the mound, and he'll face 2-3-4, beginning with Dan Mantoni. Just got whacked in the face by my own papers, thanks to old Mother Nature.
Wish we had a video camera on us. John was sniffing his sandwich earlier, got whacked in the face by a paper right there.
You know, they say that it's safer in the broadcast booth, but sometimes it's a contact sport. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Mantoni back up the middle, gobbled up by Leach. Fires across the diamond, 1 down. 6-3 on the putout, and that'll bring up Kyle Boudris, who is 0 for 2 with a walk.
For all you people that didn't understand that, John just called broadcasting a contact sport.
More of a contact sport than soccer.
Shots fired.
Women's soccer's not so bad. Men's soccer, those guys should be winning Oscars every year. It's 1-1 to Kyle Boudris. Whatever. Here's the 1-2-1. Line drive, gobbled up on the short hop out there at second. And a good play made by the second baseman, Mitch Spadulik, as that one is the second out of the inning. So Spadulik makes the play, and there's 2 down for Chris Fowler. Fowler lines one down the line, a fair ball and a base hit. Chris Fowler continues his extraordinary 2017 campaign with a 2-out double to right field.
He's good.
That's all I can really say. He's good. And the funny thing is, before I knew who Chris Fowler was, he would do the hockey camera work and things like that, and I was always just like, who's this guy, you know? Just some guy always around. Never would have known he'd be Mr. Baseball, basically. 26 consecutive games with a hit, as that one's in the dirt.
Big redhead with slick back hair.
Yeah, I mean, just looks like a normal guy you see. I had no idea who he was. What, you have to always just guess what sport the people who work here at the Beacons Broadcasting Network play until you actually see them doing it. As that one swung on and missed, it's 1-1 to Nick Herzog. But, I mean, when I first met you, Steve, I assumed, I don't know, track and field, tennis.
I was a good tennis player back
I could see it. Here's the 1-1 from KO, and a curveball dips inside.
Track and field, though?
Yeah, you know, throwing the discus?
Nope.
No? Sidearm?
Sidearm.
It's 2-1 to Nick Herzog.
I do throw a mean frisbee.
There you go, ultimate frisbee. That's swung on and missed, 2-2. Only a matter of time until that's a intercollegiate sport.
Tough place to do it in Boston, though. All that wind.
Home field advantage, I suppose, if you're used to it. Here's the 2-2. Curveball, ground ball. It's deep short. Leach underhands it, fires across the diamond, and it's dropped out there.
Ooh,
he dropped it as it was dropped by Krajewski. Would have been out, I think, but Krajewski dropped it. So the runners are at the corners with 2 down. And the Beacons with another chance. I feel like they've had 4 or 5 chances here to blow this thing open. They've failed to do so, but I believe did we call that an error?
Yes, we did. On the shortstop. Is it his 3rd today?
Including game 1? Yes, it is. It's been a rough day for Eric Leach. Luke Nagel hasn't had himself a rough day. He's 1 for 2 with a walk here in game 2 after he had a couple of hits in game 1, and that one's a curveball for a strike from KO, 0-1. I've never seen so many players not wear batting gloves in this Beacons team.
I love it. Old school.
Certainly is. The 0-1 just a bit outside, 1-1.
This umpire's been pretty hit or miss on these outside fastballs, curveballs.
Yeah, and he's hearing it, I think, because he's been really inconsistent.
I know Guido was upset a few times when he was on the mound.
There's the 1-1. And that one is on the outside corner, and now Luke Nagel's asking where that was. So no one's happy. And it's 1-2 to Luke Nagel from Jeff KO. From the stretch, the 1-2 pitch, curveball, line base hit to left field, and Luke Nagel comes through with an RBI single. Chris Fowler comes in to score, and the UMass Boston Beacons lead it 3-0.
Can't blame the umpire for that one.
Great piece of hitting by Nagel just to throw the bat head out there on a pitch on the outside corner. He'd been attacking him on the outside corner the previous couple of pitches, and not really much else you can ask for from Luke as Anthony Searle steps up. 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, and a line into a double play. Late on that swing. Nice snag out there by one of the Beacons on the bench.
Nagel's got to be careful at first base. It seems like the first baseman's kind of just creeping behind him. Could be looking off at a pickoff from the catcher.
The 0-1, that one's lifted into center field by Anthony. Deep on the run is Richard, and it is over his head, one hop, and over the fence for a ground rule double. That'll save a run, as unable to come home is Nagel, but it does score Herzog, and UMass Boston has taken a 4-0 lead, and Anthony Searles has delivered with an RBI double. So KO gives up the run, and Sal Frashino scheduled to do up, but we'll see a pinch hitter. And coming on in for Sal is going to be, I believe, well, I'm not sure because he's not out there. That's Charlie Hughie. And the mystery man is still hidden. Second and third right now, 2 outs. Beacons leading 4-0. And Ryan McCormick is going to be stepping on out to fill the shoes of Sal Frashino, the freshman from Cumberland, Rhode Island, standing at 6 foot 190. McCormick hitting .273. This will be his 22nd game, 12 of 44. Driven in 11, so he's got plenty of experience this year for a freshman. 1-0 on the outside corner, one ball and 1 strike. McCormick laces this one to left field. Salta comes in, hardly had to move, and he makes the play to retire the side. But the Beacons do strike as they score twice on 2 hits. Rather 3 hits, and leave 2 on base. We head towards the 7th inning, almost stretch time here from Monon Park. It's now 4-0, UMass Boston on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
UMass is very public service focused, and it piqued my interest, and I started doing more research on it. I'm very focused on what can I do to make the world around me a better place. My name is Lydia Grasso. I'm a junior at UMass Boston studying sociology and minoring in human rights. Because I won the Chancellor Scholarship at UMass, it allowed me to go to Cambodia. I was working at the Sihanouk Hospital Center of Hope. I was in the place of something horrible that had happened. I could either go home and kind of forget about that experience and kind of block it out, or I could do something so that things like that never happened again. UMass provides me with opportunities that I wouldn't get anywhere else and gives me a global perspective in a public setting. I definitely transformed at UMass.
So Matt Tulley remains on the mound at least for one more batter against Jarek Krajewski, who is 0 for 2 against Tulley today with a couple of groundouts. Nate Frederick will be batting second, followed by Mitch Satulik. It's 4-0 UMass Boston.
Seventh inning for Plymouth State. First baseman, number 31, Jarek Krajewski.
From the windup, and the first pitch of the 7th innings on the outside corner from Tulley, 0-1. Now over 100 pitches, as the 0-1 pitch is a breaking ball, lifted out of play, 0-2. What a day for Matt Tulley, giving up just 2 hits and no runs.
Go right back to that outside fastball right here.
From the windup, the 0-2 pitch in the dirt, metaphorically speaking. It's 1-2. The windup and the 1-2, and that's fouled out of play. A lot of foul balls, and that's what's really driven his pitch count up. Nonetheless, just over 100 pitches here in the 7th. And Joe Maguire, I believe, is still warming in that bullpen. Here's the 1-2. Curveball up and away. 2-2.
I don't like this outfield defense. How they're shifted towards left field, not right, especially with this wind right now. Right center field gap is way too big.
2-2, grounded foul up the first base line. That was Steve Witkowski running out to get that, looking incredibly athletic.
Always.
Tulley is ready, gets his sign. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and just a bit low, 3-2. So this will probably be the last batter that he'll face, regardless of the outcome. This is what we think. Krajewski's 0 for 2. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. And what a way, if it is the end of his day, to finish it for Matt Tulley. We'll see what they decide to do. But a heck of a strikeout, and that will probably do it here for Mr. Tulley, as he was absolutely outstanding this afternoon, going 6 1/3 innings, giving up just 2 hits and no runs. Now we'll see here. Looks like that is it. So they will bring in the right-hander. And we'll get everything on him in just a moment when we come back. It's 4-0 UMass Boston. Pitching change here in the 7th inning.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Seventh inning, one down, and we have a new pitcher on the mound for UMass Boston. It'll be the right-hander, Joe Maguire. Comes in here for his 11th appearance, 1-1 with a 1.86 ERA. 19 in the third innings, he struck out 10 and walked just 3 and given up 18 hits and 4 earned runs. Mr. Consiglio, what should we know about Joe?
Fastball, cutter, slider. Fastball, cutter, slider, curveball. He's got it all. He put on a couple MPHs this year, throwing around 85, maybe even 87. He can locate everything for a strike, especially that fastball cutter kind of thing. But he saws off left-handed batters, and he gets right-handed batters fishing for that slider.
6'2", 180-pounder from Peabody, Massachusetts. And he will face off against 5, 6, and 7, beginning with Nate Frederick.
Number 25, Joe Maguire.
So Frederick steps in, designated hitter. He is 1 for 2, doubled and flew out.
The designated hitter, number 9, Nate Frederick.
Frederick doubled back in the 4th. That was the last hit that the Panthers have. It's 1-0. The wind really picking up. You can just tell by looking at the jersey of Frederick, as here's the 1-0 on the outside corner from Joe. After Frederick, Mitch Satulik is due up. Is it a beautiful breaking ball? Carves the inside corner. It's 1-2. Joe Maguire looking to pick up where Tulley left off. The 1-2 pitch ripped to short and caught out of the air by the shortstop, Charlie Hugie. 2 down. And so with 2 down, it brings up Mitch Satulik. Satulik is 0 for 1. Popped out to second and walked. This after an 0 for 4 game 1. So staring an 0 for 7 perhaps in the face unless he gets on here. Here's the first pitch. Satulik pulls the bunt back for a ball. 1-0. Pitch. Fastball in the inside corner. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. In the bottom of this inning, Beacons will have the bottom of the order.
That's a good pitch.
Called a ball. It's 2-1. That one is popped up a mile, and I don't think it's going to be playable. Fowler coming hard, and it is on the top of the dugout for UMass Boston.
UMass Boston is my first choice because of the incredible theater department.
Because it has an excellent honors college.
Because here I get to interact with professors one-on-one.
Because I'm not going to be crazy in debt when I graduate.
Because at UMass Boston, I've met professors who have changed my life.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
Make the
Nothing UMass Boston looking to move to 7 consecutive wins as that breaking ball almost caught the inside corner. Maguire's got some good stuff on that off speed. Nonetheless, it's now 3-2 with 2 down. The 3-2 pitch outside, ball 4. So Maguire walks Satulik with 2 down, and that puts a man on base for Cam Ruziak.
There is a bit of movement in the bullpen for the Beacons yet again. I think it was number, oh, maybe not.
It looked like Burgos, number 17. I think I just caught his number.
Yep, it is.
First pitch is sky to right field. This should do it, although it's a long run for Herzog, but he's going to have time, and he gets there to retire the side. So a fly out to right by Ruziak ends the 7th inning, and Maguire does his job to finish the frame. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left on. We head towards the bottom half of the 7th inning. It's stretch time from Monin Park. Still 4-0 UMass Boston.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris. The subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
We are all set for the bottom half of the 7th inning, beginning with Charlie Hughie. Always tell when Charlie's up, as he will lead it off. Charlie is 0 for 1, was hit by a pitch and walked. First pitch to him missed, 1-0. KO misses again. It's 2 balls and no strikes. The wind up from Jeff, and that one is outside. Ball 3, 3 balls and no strikes to Charlie Hughie with the top of the order waiting on deck. From the windup, Jeff KO's 3-0, and that's on the outside corner, 3-1. Ground ball off the end of the bat, foul, and from 3-0, it's 3-2 to Charlie Hughie. Wind up from KO, the 3-2. Ground ball to shortstop. Leach down on it. Fires across the diamond in time. 1-0. So with 1 down, that'll bring up Josh Lopez. Lopez is 1 for 3. Scored a run, driven in a run, and been hit by a pitch.
Second baseman number 14, Josh Lopez.
First pitch to Josh. That one's cued to right field. That might be extra bases, and it will be extra bases. 1 hopping off the fence.
Get 3.
Lopez thinking 3 and puts the anchor on at the last moment. Probably would have beat it, but who knows. Nonetheless, it's an extra base hit, and it puts a 1-out base runner for Dan Mantoni.
The designated hitter, number 7, Dan Mantoni.
Mantoni stepping in. He is 1 for 3 with a walk. On the outside corner, 0-1. From the stretch, the 0-1 pitch coming from KO. And that's ripped up the middle, a base hit for Dan Mantoni. Coming on around is Lopez, he'll score. And UMass Boston leads it 5-0 on the RBI single from Dan Mantoni.
Gotta love insurance runs.
Absolutely, as with just 6 defensive outs left, the Beacons appear to be on their way, barring the unforeseen, to their 7th consecutive victory, as that one misses outside. Boudris is 0 for 3 with a walk here in Game 2. Had a couple hits in Game 1. KO from the stretch, coming on home. The 1-0 is outside. 2-0 to Kyle Boudris. Pickoff move not in time. Mantoni diving back in. KO out of the stretch, the 2-0, lifted foul out of play. Chris Fowler waits on deck. He already extended that hitting streak to 26 consecutive games with a single in the 3rd inning. Also got a double and has scored and driven in a run. 2-1. Ground ball first base. Krajewski makes the play, fires to second, way over the head of the shortstop Leach. My goodness. Bad news bears out there sometimes today.
Calling home run.
First baseman number 40, Chris Fowler.
So Mantoni's at second with 2 down. It brings up Fowler.
Somebody's got to do it.
There's the first pitch from KO, right down the middle, 0-1. Yeah, I haven't had a home run in any game I broadcast this year, so.
Maybe you're the problem.
Maybe I am. There's the 0-1. Low, it's 1-1.
Nick Herzog was able to hit one last game.
Yep, 3-run shot against Southern Maine. Here's the 1-1 to Fowler. And Chris grounds this one through the hole on the right side, a base hit. They will send Mantoni, and he will make it home standing. And it's an RBI single, the 7th RBI of the afternoon, including the first game of this doubleheader by Chris Fowler. Excuse me, the 6th actually, and UMass Boston now leads by a score of 6-0.
Not going to say I'm disappointed, but I was expecting a little more out of Chris there.
Well, you just said Herzog did it before as he takes one on the outside corner for a strike. Nick today, here in Game 2, is 1 for 3. The 0-1 almost hit him. Would have been the second time as he was hit in the first inning. Singled in the 3rd. Grounded out in the 4th and was reaching on an error in the 6th. Pickoff move not in time. Still 1-1 to Herzog. From the stretch, the 1-1, and that one gets away from Rusiak, so Fowler advances into scoring position, took the wide turn. Why not? So 2-1 coming up to Herzog from KO, and that one is low and away. Ball 3, 3 balls and 1 strike. Beacons lead it 6-0. Here's the 3-1, and Herzog grounds it to short. Leach gets down on it, fires across the diamond to retire the side. So the Beacons do expand their lead with a couple of runs here in the 7th inning. We head to the top of the 8th, 6-0 UMass Boston.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
I'm sure you'll really want to keep it on you now.
Might be able to do Monday, Tuesdays even more iffy. And then Friday I might be going to the Mets game. I'll let you know.
Joe Maguire stays in the game here for the 8th inning as UMass Boston leads this one 6-0. Andrew Salta will lead things off. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout looking and a strikeout swinging. From the windup, Maguire's first pitch, right down Broadway, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Maguire. Way out in front of the changeup was Salta. And he's feeling salty on that one as it's 0-2.
Hold the string on that one, John.
Here's the 0-2 from Maguire, way outside, 1-2. UMass Boston leading at 6-0. The 1-2 from Maguire off the end of the bat, staying alive.
Change up.
No runs for Plymouth State on 2 hits. They have 2 errors. 6 runs for UMass Boston on 13 hits. They have 1 error. The Beacons have thoroughly dominated both halves of this doubleheader. As the 1-2's outside, 2-2.
I will let you in on a little team secret. If the Beacons are able to shut out Plymouth State, the pitchers do get BP. And that may not sound like much. You know, the hitters hit every day. But, you know, being a pitcher and swinging the bat, there's nothing like it.
Sounds fun. I would have thought it would be something cooler, like the pitchers get, like, free ice cream or something. But, you know.
Food motivated over there.
Who isn't motivated by food?
And we got a pinch hitter here, Matt DeCina, sophomore infielder.
I'm just going to let you do the play-by-play for this inning there, Steve.
Pass.
No, this isn't football. No passing. It's 0-1 from Joe Maguire to DeCina. There goes the runner, and they will not let him go. Throwing down by Searles, short hops it.
79.
1 ball and 1 strike to DeCina.
May have jinxed it.
DeCina, sophomore from Hopkinton, Massachusetts. I tell you, it's like gale force winds right now in this press box. The 1-1 is outside.
If anybody got a paperweight?
Seriously.
John Scooters
tape or something.
Really use one right now.
It's 188 for Matt DeCina on the year. 3 hits in 16 at-bats. Here's the 2-1. Popped up. That would be a tough play, and no one will get there as Boudris was unable to catch up to it, nor was Searles. Goulet is on deck.
I do think Bobby Tramondozzi started to warm up in the Beacons bullpen.
I don't even want the papers anymore. I don't need them. It's 6-0, 2-2 in the 8th inning. If I can't do it without stats, nobody can. So the Beacons see Andrew DeCina. See, I already got his name wrong. DeCina is up. Maguire's 2-2. Sky deep and out of play up the third base line. A free souvenir for a lucky fan. Until Dave Wahlberg takes it away from the child. Well, he's actually smart. He's going to give it right to him. So, you know what? I would not have if I was his age. So you should get that kid a baseball. In fact, you have a baseball, don't you?
Yeah, go give it to him.
Could you imagine? It's 3-2 to DeCina, with the runner at second base being Salta. There's the 3-2. Popped up, and that's out of play. DeCina back in. Matt, a sophomore, standing at 5'9", listed as an infielder. There's the 3-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. So UMass Boston's reliever Joe Maguire, who replaced Matt Tulley, who was outstanding today, is picked up right where the starters left off.
The right fielder, number 13, Josh Goulet.
That brings up Goulet. Goulet struggled today. It's 0 for 3 in game 2, 1 for 8 overall in the doubleheader, and a pickoff move, and they've got him picked off. Salta had no hope, and he's gunned down as making the tag is Boudris. What an outstanding play, and how aware is Joe Maguire?
It's pretty impressive. I do think that was a sign from the dugout. It's called a big pickoff move. You just fake like you're going home and spin around. Just caught him off guard. Easy out.
And so, with the first pitch coming to Goulet, now 2 outs and nobody on, and ooh, Anthony Searles got whacked by Goulet on that swing. That's why the umpire's going to walk out and give Anthony a little bit of time. You tell Anthony's just miffed about it. Doesn't even seem like he's in pain.
Long day, 18 innings behind the plate. Not easy on your knees, even harder on your head.
Yeah, I don't know how Anthony does it. He catches day in and day out, double headers, 18 innings. Oof. 0-1, that one's inside, ball 1, 1-1.
Lot of ice baths.
Yeah. In 30 or 40 years, I think I'll be feeling it more. Here's the 1-1 from Maguire. That one low. 2-1. Maguire trying to get out of the 8th inning, keeping this shutout intact as that's up and in. 3 balls and 1 strike to Josh Goulet. Ryan Richard is on deck. Team's leading hitter, Ryan Richard, as that one is on the outside corner, and it's full count. From the windup, the 3-2, and that's launched into left center field. Frashino on his horse finds it and will make the play to retire the side. And so UMass Boston gets the job done and gets out of the 8th inning unscathed. We head towards the bottom of the 8th. It is 6-0 Beacons on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Bottom half of the 8th inning, UMass Boston leading 6-0. Luke Nagel is the leadoff hitter. It'll be Nagel, Searles, and Joey Rogers. Apologies, Joey Rogers actually made the play to end the inning in the top half of the 8th. As this one is grounded up the middle by Nagel. Leach fires across the diamond to retire him, and that is the first out. It'll bring up Anthony Searles. Anthony finally reached base last time out in the 6th inning. Nice double. Brought in a couple of runs at the time as UMass Boston's catcher sees that one on the outside corner, 0-1. Anthony skies this one up the first base line. That'll get out of play. It's 0-2 to Anthony Searles with one down here in the bottom of the 8th inning. I don't see anybody warming for the Beacons as Searles lifts this one to right. It's dropping fast, but it's going to hang up to be grabbed out there by Goulet. 2 down, rather. So it looks like Maguire may finish this one off unless they move somebody in the field in.
I do think Bobby Tramondozzi is still hot in the bullpen.
Oh, there he is. There's Bobby warming up. At least I think that's Bobby.
It is Bobby.
Looked like him. Here's the 0-1. He's got that violent delivery. 1 ball and 1 strike. To Joey Rogers, who was a late addition to the lineup here midway through the game, as that one's grounded to second, and that was, my friends, a very quick 1-2-3 inning. Ground out, fly out, ground out, and the inning is over. We head to the 9th inning. Last chance for romance if you're a Panther fan. They trail 6-0 here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
UMass is very public service focused, and it piqued my interest, and I started doing more research on it. I'm very focused on what can I do to make the world around me a better place. My name is Lydia Grasso. I'm a junior at UMass Boston studying sociology and minoring in human rights. Because I won the Chancellor Scholarship at UMass, it allowed me to go to Cambodia. I was working at the Sihanouk Hospital Center of Hope. I was in the place of something horrible that had happened. I could either go home and kind of forget about that experience and kind of block it out, or I could do something so that things like that never happened again. UMass provides me with opportunities that I wouldn't get anywhere else and gives me a global perspective in a public setting. I definitely transformed at UMass.
The new pitcher is the right-handed closer, Bobby Tramondozzi, and he's the man on your screen right now. What a shot that is. Crystal clear, and that's what Bobby Tramondozzi hopes to have here in the 9th inning. He's 1-1 with 15 saves, a 1.61 ERA. This will be his, either 6 saves. This will be his 16th appearance, I should say. 22 1/3 innings, 23 hits, 4 earned runs, 26 Ks, and just 5 walks. So Bobby's got command in that right arm, and he'll hope to mow down 2, 3, 4, beginning with Ryan Richard. Steve, what should we know about BT?
Bobby has a nasty slider. He'll probably throw it about 50% of the time. It's almost unhittable. And to go along with it this year, he's added a changeup, which he's improved a lot since last year. And his fastball location is very good.
Well, we'll see if the Panthers can get on the prowl here for some runs. They trail 6-0. They've scattered just 2 hits over the first 8 of this one, and it's been a long day for anyone who's in attendance, who's rooting for the Panthers. I know I saw Cam Ruziak's family in the crowd. There's the first pitch from Bobby, and what a pitch that is. As you were saying, that breaking ball is pretty lethal, but he misses high, 1-0. Richard is 1 for 3, rather. He singled back in the first inning, as that's right down the middle for a strike. He's also reached base on an error and grounded out. Here's the 1-1. outside.
Now, Bobby's a traditional closer for the Beacons, but clearly Coach Agerbro wants to get him an inning just so he doesn't get rusty.
That's a ground ball. Great diving play, Chris Fowler, and he's not going to have a chance to get him.
Bobby's got to cover first on that. It's a mental mistake. Can't happen.
Yeah, you have to be able to get over there. That's what they do all that PFP for at the same time. Great effort on the dive by Fowler to at least create an opportunity. And now James Garnett will come up. Garnett is 0 for 3. Struck out twice and grounded into a 5-4-3 double play. Breaking ball, there's that slider, but missed low, 1-0. Krajewski's on deck, but it's going to take a string of hits to bring the tying run to the plate, down by 6 here in the 9th. Another breaking ball high, 2-0. Now, Bobby's obviously made non-save opportunities before in this 2017 campaign, but oftentimes when you see closers brought into less than stressful situations, we see it with Bobby or with Craig Kimbrell all the time. They can sometimes struggle with their command.
I don't know why. I don't know how. It just happens.
Of course, Bobby had a chance to get an early out. He just didn't cover the bag, so we'll see if he can bounce back here against Garnett. 2-1 coming up. That one's lifted into left center. Rogers stepped back, now comes in and makes the play. 1 down. So Garnett, rough day for him. 0 for 7 between both games 1 and 2 after coming in hitting .346. Beacons neutralizing James Garnett. Brings up Jarek Krajewski. Jarek is 0 for 3 in game 2. Had a double in game 1. And he takes a mighty hack at a fastball off the outside corner. Nothing in 1, and seems to have had trouble all day long with pitches on the outer half of the plate.
Yeah, the Beacons have been living away, especially with Mantoni's two-seam and changeup, Tulley's fastball, and he back-footed that slider every once in a while. And here comes Bobby with the fastball away and another backdoor slider.
Tramondozzi will try to punch out Krajewski. Here's the 0-2. Fastball up and away, 1 and 2. A waste pitch there. Plymouth, no runs, 3 hits, 2 errors. The Beacons, 6 runs, 13 hits, 1 error. The 1-2 pitch. Curveball just a bit outside. Good idea. It's 2 and 2. Krajewski awaiting. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball fouled off the screen as Jarek staying alive out there. Nate Frederick is due up next. And he is in the on-deck circle. Tramondozzi from the stretch. The 2-2 pitch, slider, ripped left center field. That's trouble, and that's sinking between the 2 outfielders for a base hit. Fielded on 1 hop by Danny Brown, who just came in at the beginning of this inning for Luke Nagel. And so a couple of singles here in the 9th inning, sandwiched around a flyout with 1 down. The Panthers trying to get something cooking here as Nate Frederick steps up. He's 1 for 3.
The designated hitter, number 9, Nate Frederick.
First pitch is swung on and fouled back off the screen. Frederick today is 1 for 3 in game 2 after a 1 for 4 performance in the opener. He had a double back in the 4th. He also had a double in game 1. Here's the 0-1.
It's a good pitch.
Beautiful slider. No balls and 2 strikes to Frederick. Double play would end the game. And give the Beacons their 7th consecutive win. The 0-2. Low. Searle scoops it. Thought about trying for the pickoff, but smart enough to realize the situation. Up by 6, no need to risk it.
Definitely scared Krajewski on that one, though.
Swung on and missed. He struck him out. So down goes Nate Frederick. And Bobby Tramondozzi is 1 out away from putting this one in the win column for the Beacons. And that last chance for romance here is going to be Mitch Satulik. Satulik's 0 for 1 with a couple of walks here in game 2. He was 0 for 4 in the opener. The runner at second is Richard. The runner at first is Krajewski. The first pitch to Satulik, fouled back and out of play. It's 0-1. Beacons will be back at it on Monday. Home game against Endicott College in non-conference play. Plymouth State travels to Bates College tomorrow for a non-conference doubleheader. How of a weekend, Plymouth State. They have to play another road doubleheader on Sunday. Tramondozzi 1 strike away from ending this one. The 0-2 pitch, fouled back and out of play. Runners at second and first. Here's the 0-2 from Tramondozzi on the outside corner. Called strike 3. He struck him out, and the Beacons have swept their rivals from Plymouth State. The final score in game 2, 6-0. The win goes to Matt Tulley. The loss goes to Dylan Gaeta. And UMass Boston has won 7 consecutive games as they improve to 24-9 and 9-3. In Little East Conference play. How about that from UMass Boston? Not only do they get the win, but Steve, they get a shutout. And I think the player of the game is easily the starting pitcher, Matt Tulley. He was outstanding.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive what he did. He elevated pitch count in the first couple innings. I think he was through 75 through 4 innings and managed to go 6 1/3. Really found a way to just last.
Let's take a look at highlights here of game 1, or game 2 rather. You know what, let's go to a quick break. When we come back, we will have highlights here in game 2. The final score, 6-0.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Welcome back to the post-game show. Along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Scudras. Beacons sweep their rivals from Plymouth State with a 6-0 win here in Game 2. Let's take a look at highlights of this 6-0 triumph here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Early on here in Game 2, it was an unbelievable diving play as this one is slapped up the middle. Charlie Hughie knocking this one down as he fires to get that out. That was a close play, but it saved a run early, and it ended up being the only chance that Plymouth State would have. Heck of a play by Charlie Hughie. Of course, then we have here the big hit from Nagel. Luke had a phenomenal day before being pulled. And he's a guy that really didn't get much playing time early, injuries and whatnot, but he is critical to the team's success here late.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been on fire. He's a team captain, team leader. He's been around 3 years, even though he redshirted 1 year last year. Just a leader on the team.
Speaking of leaders and critical players, here's Ross Lopez. An unbelievable sliding play and the throw to retire the runner, Krajewski. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And then here's an RBI here for Lopez. That's coming on in to score, I believe, is Sal Frascino.
Yeah, Lopez got to thank Sal's speed for that sac fly. It wasn't too deep, but still got the job done.
That put the Beacons up 2-0 at the time in the 4th inning. They would extend their lead with 2 runs in the 6th and 2 more in the 7th to 6-0. Here's a double play that the Beacons turned that, with the runner at first base, ended a threat in the top half of the 6th inning when the game was still in doubt. Boudreaux firing over to Lopez, who turned it. And that was one of those big plays by the starting pitcher who got the job done. And once again, I mean, what can you really say, as this is the Anthony Searles double that broke the game wide open.
Yeah, it's good to see Searles break out a little bit. He's been hitting a lot of things hard and finally put something in the gap and turn it into a double. Could have been a triple if it didn't bounce over the fence, turn it into a ground roll double instead.
So UMass Boston wins it by a score of 6-0. The final, 13 hits, just 1 error, 0 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for Plymouth State. Let's take a look at what's coming on up here ahead for UMass Boston, as they have now won 7 consecutive games and improved to 9-3 in Little East Conference play. Just 6 games left on the slate. Nonetheless, I will just read it off on what's coming up here in the coming week. On Monday, they'll be taking on Endicott College at home. On Tuesday, home again against Salve Regina. They'll be at Amherst College on Wednesday, and then on Friday, they'll wrap up the regular season with a home doubleheader against Western Connecticut State, coverage beginning at 12 noon. I want to thank everyone else in our production team who did such a great job in what has been a long Saturday. Luckily, though, we did have great weather. Our producer, Seth Orensky, our directors, Rachel Maslak and Julia Murphy. On Instant Replay, it was Alyssa Fugel. Our camera operators, Maddie Byrne, Eileen Shee, Emily Steinberg, and Grace Fisher. For Steve Consiglio, I am John Skudris. We thank you for tuning in to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. UMass Boston sweeps the doubleheader, winning Game 2 6-0. We'll see you on Monday for the Endicott College matchup right here on the BBN. Until then, good night, good luck, and good baseball. We'll see you later right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.